You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network, the home of the Options Podcast. For more quality options programs, visit theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app available in the iTunes and Google Play stores. Select programs are also available via live stream at mixlr.com/options-insider. That's mixlr.com/options-insider. Don't forget to follow along with your favorite programs and submit your own questions for the hosts at twitter.com/options, stocktwits.com/options, facebook.com/theoptionsinsider, or via questions at theoptionsinsider.com. The Options Insider Radio Network is sponsored by Fidelity Investments. At Fidelity, you'll always get a great value for your options trades. And with powerful investing tools that provide clear next steps, plus independent research and a wide range of investment types, we can help you make better trading decisions. Learn more about options trading with Fidelity at fidelity.com/options. Options trading entails significant risk and is not appropriate for all investors. Certain complex option strategies carry additional risk. Before trading options, contact Fidelity Investments by calling 800-544-5115 to receive a copy of the characteristics and risks of standardized options. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE SIPC.
Good morning. Today is October 19th, 2018. This is your Options News Rundown. I'm Dan Passarelli. Our first story today is from investing.com. It's the top 5 things to know in the market on Friday. First thing to know is China registers its lowest growth since the crisis. The Chinese economy grew 6.5% in the third quarter, slowing from the prior 6.7%, missing expectations for 6.6% expansion. It was the slowest growth since the height of the financial crisis in the first quarter of 2009. The data comes amid concerns that the continuing trade dispute with the U.S. will further dampen the performance of the world's second largest economy. The third quarter growth was dragged down by the weakest factory output, the 5.8% rise in the industrial production for September, missed estimates of 6% since February 2016 as automakers cut production by over 10% amid a sales slowdown. Second thing to know today is Procter & Gamble up to bat as PayPal soars. The Dow component Procter & Gamble will be the focus amid companies reporting before the bell on Friday, while Schlumberger, State Street, and Honeywell will also be on the docket. PayPal was also in focus after the company reported third quarter results that topped consensus and lifted its outlook. Shares were up around 7% in pre-market trade. Third thing to know today is housing data and Fed speak to focus attention. On a thin day for economic data, investors will focus on the publication of existing home sales for September at 10 a.m. Eastern. As the data accounts for 90% of the sales in the housing market, traders will keep a close eye on what has been lackluster inventory data that, coupled with low new home construction, has been unable to keep up with demand. Outside of the data on the economic calendar, and with all the recent attention on the latest Federal Reserve minutes, investors will be paying close attention to appearances from Dallas Fed Robert Kaplan and Atlanta Fed President Raphael Bostic. The fourth thing to know today is that U.S. futures signal a rebound after a sharp sell-off. After the prior session's sharp sell-off sparked by weak industrial earnings and continued concerns over the outcome of investigations into the missing Saudi journalist, U.S. futures pointed to a slight bounce for Wall Street on Friday ahead of corporate earnings, housing data, and appearances from Federal Reserve policymakers as well. The fifth thing to know is U.S. crude heads for a sharp weekly decline ahead of data on U.S. oil rigs. Oil prices traded slightly higher on Friday, but U.S. crude was still on track for a sharp weekly decline of 3.2% amid supply concerns. U.S. crude oil futures gained 0.6% to $69.06 by 5:35 a.m. Eastern, while Brent oil traded up 0.93% to $80.03. Losses this week were sparked by data released Wednesday that showed U.S. crude stocks surged 6.5 million barrels last week, the fourth straight weekly build, and almost triple what analysts had forecast. Our second story today is from MarketWatch.com. Tesla cuts $4,000 off Model 3 price with new mid-range battery. Tesla began selling a cheaper version of its Model 3 sedan Thursday, but the price tag is still higher than originally promised, and federal tax incentives that could bring down the price are set to expire. The new version features a new mid-range battery with a starting price of $45,000, the electric car maker said late Thursday. That's $4,000 less than the previous starting price of $49,000. For well more than a year, Tesla has been touting an eventual Model S with a base price of $35,000 that will be affordable enough to appeal to the masses, but one still is not available. In August, UBS analysts said Tesla would lose money on any Model 3 with a base price of $35,000. Tesla's website says the standard version, which would be expected to have that base price, will be selling in 4 to 6 months. Our third story is from CNBC.com. Chinese stocks break a 2-decade trend, and that could signal more downside. Chinese stock market is getting wiped out. China's Shanghai Composite sank to 4-year lows this week, while the so-called BATS stocks, Baidu, Alibaba, Tencent, and Sina, have suffered heavy losses this month. That tsunami of selling has inflicted heavy technical damage on the Shanghai Composite, says one technician. This has been a very long-term uptrend that's been intact since 1996, and the recent price action on the Shanghai Composite is now violating this, Craig Johnson, chief market technician at Piper Jaffray, said on Trading Nation on Thursday. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is news you can use for today, October 19th, 2018, your Options News Rundown. I'm Dan Passarelli. Trade smart and have a nice weekend.
Thank you for listening to the Options News Rundown. To learn more about these stories or any other developments from the world of options, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com, the premier source for free options information. The Options News Rundown is brought to you by Market Taker Mentoring, the leader in option trader education. Get trader education, daily trade ideas, and more with a free 1-week trial of Market Taker Mentoring's live Advantage group coaching class by visiting markettaker.com/insider.
The preceding program was a production of the Options Insider Radio Network. For more quality options programs, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app, available in iTunes and on Google Play. Don't forget to follow along with your favorite programs and submit your own questions for the hosts at twitter.com/options, facebook.com/theoptionsinsider, or via questions at theoptionsinsider.com.